Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, former professional hockey goaltender Brady Dyer, who most recently played in the Federal Prospects Hockey League with the Topeka Scarecrows, and is now playing senior hockey in the Northern Premier Hockey League with the County Royals. But before he made his jump to pro, he spent time in the NOJHL with French River Rapids and the GMHL with the Northumberland Stars. So. I'm really excited to get you on, Brady. So, welcome to the show, Brady Dyer.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to get you on. Just talk your career over, talk your junior career, your pro career, like the NPHL, But first, like, you're from Stony Creek, Ontario. So, like, what was it like growing up in Stony Creek and develop and going through youth hockey over there?
It was great. I love Stony Creek. It's a nice little small town. Like it branches out. Like you're more or less a part of Hamilton. But the minor hockey system there, I honestly was just playing single A, double A up until Bantam, so like U14. But it was always good. It treated me pretty well until the end there. But the people there, my coaches were great guys. They helped me get to where I was. So I have zero complaints about what they turned me into and how they ran stuff.
Yeah, that's huge. You're out there having fun, you're developing,
Mhm.
and you're just enjoying the games. Like, what really got you into the game of hockey, and like, how old were you when you first started?
Oh, I started right off the get-go. Like when before they had hockey schools and it was like you'd get the whole get up in the jerseys and everything, but you wouldn't play games. You're just learning to skate and stop and whatnot. So I started right from the get-go. I think my first year going just in the net, I was probably like first year novice, so like really young.
Yeah,
But it was pretty family driven. I mean, most Canadian families you grow up with hockey
it's
players in
it's in
them,
your
so
blood.
exactly. So it was definitely that, and then I just kind of just loved being around my buddies, loved playing hockey. Like I didn't really ever see myself as someone who hated going to practice, where a lot of kids, especially at that age, did.
Yeah,
So it was something I loved pretty quick. And then once I kind of realized I had a shot doing something, I got even more into it, and it just became everything.
yeah, just part of the grind, part of the process, and really fall in love with the grind.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but like, what made you choose a goalie? Because everyone says we're all crazy for being a goalie. So, what made you decide to play in that?
Um, I couldn't score goals. And that so I did the hockey school, and then I think I played for 1 year, and then it was one more year where they're kind of cycling through goalies at that age where like
Yeah,
everyone gets a shot. And it was myself and the coach's daughter at the time both just loved playing goalie, and we were like at that age it's more or less just who can stand up and move in the
yeah,
pads, right? And me and her were really the only ones that can, and I love doing it. I don't know why, because I mean, like at that age, who loves getting just hit with pucks?
yeah.
But I loved it. And then the next season, I had played baseball with a bunch of guys over the summer. We're good friends with them, and they were all jumping up to the next age group. But because of my birth month, I didn't have to, but I could. And so I reached out to the coach who coached that little T-ball team, and he goes, "The only spot we have left is goalie." And I was like, sign me up, let's do it. And then from there, it just never looked back at all.
Yeah, the story started right from there. You didn't really have a choice. Goalie was the only position that
Yeah.
was available.
Yeah.
But hey, you made a pretty decent career out of it, so you really can't complain.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but like you said you played single A, double A before you got to junior hockey. It's like what was it like just like your development period through that point when you're still getting the movements down and just learning the position?
So for me, I went through a lot of really fantastic goalie coaches. I started when I was younger, I went to a place called On Ice. off the top of my head, I can't remember the trainer's name. I haven't been there in years, but he, actually, the one guy, his name was Coach Patty, and Patty had games, or I think he had played a game as like an e-bug for the Hamilton Bulldogs when they were in the AHL. And Patty was a nut bar, but that guy had you like in line. I remember being like Adam Hockey, and this guy was ripping slap shots at you from point blank. Like he had your rate lined up pretty quick. So he definitely, that like my off ice training, or out of like not with the team, my training was definitely pretty good. I went over to Adrian Volpe as I got older. He was with a couple OJ teams. He worked with Brock. Pretty sure he's still with Erie as their head of goaltending, but he's I've been with him for years now. I did some work with um he's the Leafs goalie coach. He played and he was with Abbotsford Canucks. They called him Sandman. I can't remember his name for the life of me off the top of my head, but he had me whipped up into shape too. Wow, that was more like getting into junior, but it was just like trying to get the reps wherever I could. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to be good. I didn't like losing. I've never liked losing. So I was just giving what I could every time I went out.
Yeah, that's a pretty good thing when you're just grinding away, and everyone should hate losing. So that just pushes you even further along, and especially when you're facing guys, coaches with like putting on slap shots, like you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you moved on from single A, double A, and you went into the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League in the NOJ with French River Rapids. So like, what was that process like to get to junior hockey?
So for me, honestly, super weird. Not your typical story. So when I was with Burlington Cougars double A program, there was a coach who was working with the prep school, Blythe Prep, at the time, and they were also working with Mississauga Senators AAA. And I guess the coach for the U16 team, I heard a story. I'm not 100% sure what the truth is to it, but the team dispersed, the U16 prep team, and they were already put in for a bunch of these tournaments. So they called up the two coaches from the two Burlington teams, and they went, "All right, put the best guys together, throw them out into these prep school tournaments they're already paid for. We gotta put something on the
Yeah.
ice." And I go into my first game. The U18 team has a game going on at the time, so they have all the pucks for warmups. I didn't have a single shot in warmups. First guy comes down, first shot, the weakest 5-hole goal you could ever let in. I think we ended up losing 5-0. And I mean, I played an okay game, but I was just like, at that point, especially, I was just so like set on the loss. I didn't realize
Yeah.
how many saves I'd made. Apparently, they said I made over 50. So, I mean, wasn't too bad. But I remember the coach coming around the room because the U18 coach caught the tail end of it. And he came up to me. He's like, come outside, and I was like, all right, like, wow, I just lost 5-0. Like, get
Yeah.
away from me.
Yeah.
And he goes, so we're gonna keep in touch with you. And I was like, what are you talking about,
Yeah.
man? Like, I
What do you
just got
mean?
pumped 5 goose. Like, I don't, like, I don't want to, like, let's not talk. Like, we don't need to like sugarcoat stuff. I'm okay. Like, I know we just got pumped. And he was like, no, like, I'm serious. And so he had me around with his Mississauga Sens team the next couple of years. Um, I was alternate for them. I want to say it would have been U18 year, and season got shut down because of COVID. And we go into next season, and I was skating with him with the Sens, and uh, we got shut down again. And he kind of went, well, I'm working with this team in the NOJ, and I'm gonna like my plan is to send you there next year. So we're shut down here. You're paying for all these skates. He goes, why don't you just pay the billet fees of it
Yeah.
and go up there and at least get a sniff of it to see if it's something you're interested in. And at that point, I had only had like a handful of junior C offers. And like that was kind of my destiny per se, just based off of where I had played. And like the junior C offers weren't great. Like I had one team that gave me an offer because I blockered a guy in the head because he like came too close to me, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we love
We
that
we
grind
want
out of
that
you."
guy.
And I'm like that's not what I want to be. Like you lose your emotions sometimes, but that's not my game anymore. And so I went up there, made good friends. We were there. I was only there for like a month my first year, and I wasn't even rostered. I was just doing the skill skates with the guys just to get a sniff to see what it's about. And I DD'd a couple guys around, and the coach found that out and liked it. And I guess he thought I was a decent kid. And from there, it was just that was all she wrote. I kind of just took the opportunities that they gave me and run. My first year was very slim pickings. I think I only started 2 games. Um, and one was across the border. I think we had 10 guys that crossed the border because of COVID at the time. But I mean, I did what I could. Um, and then just the grind in the off season, I ended up showing up my 19 year for the starting role and took it and just went as far as I could with it.
Yeah, like what was that like first like full year when you did get that starting role, like and just because you got the sniff the year before and you're able to really settle in and see what you needed to do to get to compete at that level. It's like what was that year like for you and just learning the Noj game, the junior hockey lifestyle.
hmm It was it was very it was very humbling to an extent. Like I was always eating a lot of pills a night. Like I was seeing upwards of 40, 45 shots, which I mean, not complaining about. It made
Yeah.
me who I am. But a lot of definitely good scoring opportunities. But my first win in that league, we were at the showcase game and we were playing against Espanola. And at that point, I think they were nationally ranked within the CJ rankings, and we were coming into a hard game. We were the first game of the whole showcase. It was like a 9 a.m. start, and we had to drive there in our cars because all the bus companies' buses had been rented out to the other teams in the league.
Yeah.
And so we roll in there. You're up at like 6 a.m. and it was just we got there and I was like, oh my God, like I'm so tired. I don't like why are we playing a game this early? And I got some pre-workout into me and we went out there and I ended up shutting them out. And that was my first junior win and I was ecstatic about it. But it was that getting like settling into that starting role, you take a lot of burden on your shoulders. I know like a lot of goalies they push blame at other people. Like if something
Yeah.
went wrong, I'm not like that. And the goalies I coach, I try to implement this with them too. Is I don't care how good of a goal someone scores. There's good goals that get scored in hockey. There's bad goals that get scored in hockey. But even if it's a backdoor tap and where the guy was standing there for 5 seconds and
Yeah.
nobody's even in the realm of him, there's something I could have done better to stop the puck.
Yeah.
So I took a lot of that burden on my shoulders my first year, and I was very, very, very hard on myself. Um, and I was very locked into my own world and like wouldn't really talk to teammates, like which is you still see that with goalies is typical. But what I found was when I was that locked in, especially the playoffs are a different breed.
Yeah.
This is just regular season I'm talking about, but like when I was that locked in, I found when I would get a goal or two scored on me, it would kind of like snap me out of it. And then I would kind of be a little shaky in like mid game. So going into my 20 bomb year, my first overage year, I had, I tried to really calm myself down. Like we had a broadcaster and he was a fantastic guy and he loved doing interviews and he always wanted to interview me, but he was scared to talk to me on game days because my 19 year I was so like they said
Dialed.
I'd look through people.
Yeah.
And
Just like Hellebuck in the
yeah,
yeah with the Canadians.
and he was so he came up to me at practice one day and I'm like, no man, like I want you to talk to me before the game one of these days because I'm trying to calm myself down before the
Yeah.
game. Just find that happy medium, not get too high, not get too low, but just ride that middle spot because that's like I needed that and that helped me so much. Like I said, playoffs are a different breed. Like that's just a war. So that I was definitely a little more psyched up for, but finding that happy medium definitely helped with me at least.
Yeah, like what was your mindset like after like once you figured that out and like I'm sure the mental side of things like you're completely like a lot more relaxed like riding that middle line like you said and you're not like so dialed and driven on just just looking through people.
Yeah, it just it let there be a little more flow to the game. I found that when I rode that happy line, I could kind of control my breath a little more and not be like hyperventilating, which then I'd be crashed out by the end of the second period. It
Yeah.
definitely helped like elongate my stamina with the game, but it also helped me in practice because I was one that I would go just as hard. Oh, I always have been one to go just as hard in practice as games. And that was something that it just helped me control all the emotions. So like if a guy came in and ran me over, I wasn't when I was like all hyped up, I was getting up swinging. Like
Yeah.
that's just, like that was just my thing. But then that definitely calmed me down and made me like, okay, there's 5 minutes left on the clock. It's a 1 goal game. We just got a 5 minute power play. Like maybe I shouldn't be throwing a punch at this guy's head.
Yeah.
And so it definitely made my decision making better. It helped elongate my game. It just it all around it just calmed me down and made me be more aware of what was going on within the game.
Yeah, that's huge just to realize that because it's once you're calm and under control, like that's when your performance goes up, like you said.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but then you played your your 20 bomb year in French River, like you said, and then you went after that, oh, your overage year in the GMHL with the Northumberland Stars, like which was last year. So like
Mhm.
what was your time going from the NOJ to the GMHL like and having one more extra year of junior hockey?
Yeah, I out of my overage year in French River, we there was a trade that was supposed to happen for me at deadline that just never ended up working out for whatever reason, guys refusing to report and didn't have a crazy amount of offers. I only had one to Western Michigan, and it was just like a tour offer. It wasn't like an official offer at the time. But I had reached out to my advisor and I was like, "Hey man, like I'm not done yet. Like I want to try and give it another kick." And I knew the G was an option because I'd been drafted to it, so I looked up some stuff about like what the league was about, realized you got the second overage year. And I skated with three teams. It was Niagara, St. George, and Northumberland. Northumberland was the final team, and it was the farthest away from my house. Like Niagara and St. George were, I think, 30 and 25 minutes from my house. I could have lived at home, but Northumberland was about 2.5. And skated with all the teams, good guys on all the teams. But when I came to Northumberland for just a skill skate, there was something that stuck out to me. Um, and there was a handful of guys at this skill skate that had been cut from the team. Like they played for the team, what would have been my 20 bomb year when I was in the NOJ, and then coming into my overage year, they had all been a handful of them had been cut, but they were still coming to these skill skates knowing
Yeah.
that they had been cut from this team, and I was like, that should say something about the coaching staff. Like if I got cut from a team, I can't say I'd really probably want to keep skating with that coach. I'd
Yeah.
find ice elsewhere. So that stuck out to me. And then there's a couple of young guns that they had out at that practice that definitely stuck out. And I was like, okay, these are like some legit 16, 17-year olds. And it kind of humbled me towards the league a bit because that league's got a bad stigma going for it. Like there's just everyone will say everything about that
Yeah.
league and especially in Southern Ontario. And like it's no different than any other league. Your top teams could stick around in any of the decent leagues, but your bottom teams, they got no business, right? It's
Yeah.
it's no different than any league. All junior leagues have that. But going there, getting to play with some of the guys I got to play with, getting to see the game from a different light from different coaches, like Alex McConnell, that guy, he had my back with everything. And Alex was a guy that he he truly wants the best for you. What you want to do something, he's gonna do what you got to do your job to to make it possible, but he will do everything for you. He was constantly on the phone with schools, throwing out emails, and that was my original plan was to go to school. And he got me. I think I finished the season. I probably had 10, 12 good Ocha one offers, a handful of nationally ranked schools at that level. And I kind of realized the cost, not knowing. And I was like, oh, okay, like I can't do that. That's not
Yeah.
reasonable. And then I was kind of had come to terms with, okay, serious hockey's done for me. And then I was like, it was just one day I just wasn't having it. And I was like, I can't leave, I can't finish after my best season. Like there's no
Yeah.
way.
No.
And so I talked to my family and I was like, guys, I want to try and give it a kick at pro. And they're like, all right, like, see what you can do, I guess.
Yeah.
And I reached out to Alex, and Alex, within 5 minutes, I had a PTO from Topeka. And from there, it was just going down and doing my thing. But Alex, like, with all our players now, like, now I'm blessed I get to work with the Stars. Um, we push all our players to wherever they want to go. We have a handful of guys that want to go play U Sports OUA this year. We're pushing all those players there
Yeah.
as much as we can. We're putting their name out there. They want to go play Division 3. We're reaching out to Division 3 schools. They want to play in the Federal League. We're reaching out to a handful of federal teams. Like we're doing whatever we can to get these guys where they want. And because they see us putting in the work, they're going to put in the work to make sure that they can make it at that next level. And me getting that experience from Topeka has definitely helped because now I know what it takes to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of people, especially coming out of junior, they're just airheads and they think it's anyone can play in the Fed.
Yeah.
No, no, you
No.
can't. It's a different breed. It's a different style of hockey. All leagues are, and it's a workload that a lot of people don't like. A lot of guys can't handle a junior workload and they lose the love of hockey. The pro workloads tenfold that, right? So,
Yeah.
but Northumberland was great. It gave me a chance to to be on a winning team. And sadly, I mean, we didn't win the cup, which was a bit of a knife through the chest for all of us with the team that we had. But it was a good experience to, like I said, see a different style of hockey in a different league under different coaches with different style of players. Like we had a guy that was 4 years out in the OHL, Thomas Johnson, Owen Brady played a handful of years in the CC and went to Florida Panthers camp. And then the guy I went down to Topeka with, Matt Shoeless, he he came out of the Noj with me and went to Northumberland. So like just seeing all these guys from all these different CJ leagues or even major junior leagues come together on this team and all bring what we bring to the table and all bring our different experiences together to try and bring this team to a championship it was a cool thing to be a part of.
Yeah. That's sick. That's awesome to just be a part of. Like you guys were winning. You're on a winning team. You had your best year, and then you continue that, like you said, like into the Fed. So like what was like the biggest learning curve that you learned throughout junior hockey? Like you've had your lows, you've had your highs in junior hockey. It's like what have you learned that you took to the Fed to start the year?
Um, my biggest thing in junior was, and it was one kid that there was like two big things, but it was one thing. I met this kid, Cole Sheffield, who's my goalie partner my first year in French River, and that kid had a work ethic like nothing I've ever seen. The kid was a grind, like just an absolute animal. He was my goalie partner. He's playing at Minnesota Duluth D1 this year, but my coach, when I walked in the doors of French River, I was 17 and Sheffy was in his 16 year, and he looked at me and he goes, "You see that kid?" And I went, "What?" And he goes, "You follow what he does." And I went, all right. And I kind of just watched his work ethic every day and I have tried to match it. And honestly, I still don't know if I'll ever be able to obtain it because that kid is just an animal. But that's definitely been something that I've looked at every day. And just like being able to sit down at the end of practice and look around at the dressing room and be like, okay, did I work harder than every single person in
Yeah.
here? I might not have been as successful with what I was doing. Everyone has off days. I've always told my guys, sometimes your shot ain't gonna work. Use your feet, move the
Yeah.
puck. If you're sometimes your feet aren't gonna work, move the puck. Like just you gotta work with the cards you're dealt that day. But preparing for everything like it's a game, like I warm up the same for practice games, it don't matter. It's all the exact same for me. And so being the hardest worker in my preparation and just like having some care with what you're doing, like it's you're in a position that not many people get the opportunity of. Like I was very, very, very blessed to go down to Topeka and get to be with the Scarecrows for the time I was there. And I I wasn't going to go in there and not give it everything I had.
Yeah.
Like that's just a waste. At that point, you got someone else who maybe could have had the opportunity that I took it from. That wants it so bad that could have needed it more than me. And I took that spot, and I'm not even going to try. Like it's
Yeah.
just not right.
Yeah. You just gotta give it everything you have because why, if you're gonna be at that level, like why wouldn't you just do everything you can to stay and compete every day?
Yeah, just like look back with no regrets.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure when I'm 30 or whatever, I'll look back and be like, yeah, I probably could have done this differently. But I can look back right now and say like I there was very, very, very select few days I can probably count on one hand where I was like I should have given it more.
Yeah.
Like I really gave it what I had.
Yeah, that's huge. And like you brought that into Topeka. Like what was your experience with the Scarecrows and just getting into the Fed?
It was fantastic. Like that's coming back to Ontario, seeing all my friends' family. That was something I got asked a lot, and I honestly have nothing but fantastic things to say from top to bottom. That team, the organization, the fans, everything was fantastic. Obviously, I was sitting in the third string spot when I was there, and like it was tough not playing mentally for me, but I'm not blind to the fact of who my goalie partners were at the time. Brzgalov and Bernard were both great guys. They were guys that I could ask questions and they would answer for me like that. Like I was jumping, like you're seeing the shot speed change, right? So I was getting beat pretty bad down low, and I was like, I looked at Sammy and I was like, man, like do you got anything for me? Like I'm sick of getting beat here. And he gave me, it was legit the slightest adjustment, and I did it, and it just everything was just a complete cycle. Like I was everything I needed, or even if they saw me doing something that they were like, maybe not. Sammy or Briz were always helping me out. Even the guys like TJ Smith, Scotty Koash, all those guys that Jacob Gagnon, Alex Norwinski, they were all always helping me out with stuff. Like I'd just be like, hey, check and see if like if you see any weaknesses today that I can work on. And Sneether right off the bat, he goes like guys in this league don't just tip pucks to tip them. He
Yeah.
goes they tip them and they place them, and he's one of the best I've ever seen at it. So like my first 2 weeks, every day after practice, I was on the ice with him just eating tips because
Yeah.
and it made me so much better at it. Just being able to release into the puck and be able to absorb it. But it was just the extra ice definitely helped. Robbie was honest with you. He was straight up with you. Our veteran guys or Justin Schmidt and all those guys, like they were happy to answer any questions you
Yeah.
had, and they're super nice people. And then our community involvement, like we were in the community constantly, and that helped a lot. Like there was very seldom where you could go out and not be recognized to some extent, but like we were in schools every day. I like that. Like that's big. Like
Yeah.
you're a professional hockey player. You're at the end of the day, it sounds kind of awful, but you're an entertainer. And this is the next generation of them.
Yeah.
Topeka, Kansas ain't a big hockey spot, but since they've been there, they've now started learn to skate programs, learn to play hockey programs. I'm pretty sure they're trying to build a rink in Topeka now because the closest one's KC, and that's like an hour and a bit away. So like if a lot of these kids that have never had hockey now have the opportunity to see professional athletes do it, and now they're getting the chance to be taught by them, which is another great thing. And then the another big thing for me that Topeka did was I lived with a billet family, and they were fantastic people. The Dragons, they were part of our sorry, they were part of our booster club, and they were the most fantastic people ever. They were a great family, and they whatever you not whatever you needed, but they were just like there to support you.
Yeah,
So even if you had a bad day at the rink, you could go home and you didn't per se have to talk about hockey. You could just go live, pet the dogs, chill, watch TV, eat your dinner, and just relax. So that definitely helped with my adjustment to pro because like I've lived 6 hours away from home before. That's no bother. But when you're talking about a 19-hour trip,
yeah,
you get homesick. There's no going home.
no,
You're there. You're on the ice 5 days a week, and you're playing or you're on the road. You're doing. It's a full-time job, right?
yeah,
There's no, oh, I want to go home for a couple days to see my dog or whatever. It's just it's not what it is. And so that definitely helped me out having that family aspect there. But the federal league and getting one thing that we were blessed with was we got to go down to Allen, Texas, and we did camp with the Allen Americans, and that was unbelievable. That
yeah,
was a super cool experience. That's something, Mitchell, to be able to say you got on PTO with Allen and got to do the camp and whatnot. That's something that not a lot of people get to experience. It's
yeah, no,
extremely cool. And obviously, it's a big difference in the game, but to see how close you actually are once you're in the Fed and you're like they're calling you hear they're you hear coaches say stuff like, "Oh, yeah, guys are getting called up left, right, and center," but you hear stuff every in every league from every
yeah,
coach. So like you really got to pick and choose what you're believing. But for someone who had never really known much about the Fed or followed it, I was like, oh my God, like it's actually like obviously the coast is much more finesse, a lot more of a possession game as compared to a dump and chase and run someone over in the corner.
yeah,
But it was definitely really cool to get that experience of those players, those kids who are younger than me, even that are down there in Allen that are playing. And I'm like these kids are legit. These kids are
yeah,
probably going to be in the NHL one day, and they're just here for camp. And it's guys that like I've followed in the Ontario Hockey League and stuff like that. It's just it's all it was the experience from top to bottom was fantastic. I cannot complain about anything about Topeka. It was fantastic.
yeah. That's awesome to hear, and just like you said, like just having support from like the billet family that you were with, like that's what I've learned in pro too, is just like you need those times when you just need to go home and relax and not think about the game, and cause then you're able to come back the next morning and have a good practice compared to just thinking about the game, thinking about your practice or what you did wrong, like the whole rest of the day. Like you're able to just sort of get back home, relax, and no one's pressuring you to talk about the game or your
Oh,
practice.
absolutely. And that was the best part. Like, don't get me wrong, like there was times that we did, but there was also times where I was just like, there's no pressure to talk about
No.
practice. We'd go out and I'd just throw a football with the kids or do something. We go out, have a fire in our backyard and or just sit there and play with the
Yeah.
dogs and mess around. Like there was no pressure to do anything, which was very nice when you got as much as you got going on with regards to hockey.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, like just having that and having a good experience in Topeka, like what was your favorite moment that you had in Topeka that sticks out to you?
Oh, I think so. There's a lot of really cool ones. I mean, Thomas Murphy that was there. I've known Murph for a year now. He played, or a year and a half now. He played with the Stars a couple years before I was there. And Murph scored the first goal at home in Starmont Vale Event Center, and that was super cool. Getting that hearing that how loud that place got
Yeah,
with almost 7,000 people in there was pretty cool. But on a personal level. I think so. My final day there, I didn't want to shake anything up in the room, so I talked to Robbie. I was planning on talking to Robbie after the game because the boys got to focus on the game. Winning's
Yeah,
all that matters to
yeah,
me, and it's still a family. Like I said, I got no hard feelings with what happened there. That was it. It happened, and um, Robbie came up to me uh just before the last game, and me and him had talked about what was going on for a bit and in a meeting after our morning skate, and he looks at me and I'm kind of just messing. I'm still doing my warm-ups. Even if I was scratched, I would do my warm-ups just in
yeah.
case one of the guys got hurt and I had to suit up. And he looks at me and he goes, I can dress a third for warm-ups. You want to go in for warm-ups? And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, get one my last day. Like I'll get a taste of it,
Yeah,
have some fun out there. And our starter that night was Brizgalov. And Sammy Bernard looks at me and goes, "You're taking all the shots, buddy." And I went, all right. I mean, okay. He goes, "I don't want any." He goes, I'm good. And I was like, all right. But we're going on the ice for warm-ups and we're all waiting there. We're like, where's Brizzy? Where's Brizzy? He was always he tried to get his gear on last second. He didn't like
yeah,
having his gear on very
yeah.
long. He just wanted to get it on and go on the ice. And the other team is on, I think it was I don't even remember who it would have been that weekend. Maybe Biloxi? I can't even remember off the top of my head, but we were, Brizzy was there and like just nowhere to be found. We were like, where's Brizzy? Where's Brizzy? And all the boys looked at me and they go, Dyer, lead us out, lead us out. So getting to lead the guys out on the ice, that for my last day there, that was a super cool experience, something that I'll never forget. I'll cherish that moment forever.
Yeah, that's sick that you were able to lead the guys out for warm ups. Like I'm sure that was a pretty cool feeling and a way to go out in Topeka.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, those guys are all my family, and I I hated that I had to step away, but to being able to do that, have that last little final hoorah was pretty cool, and just to get that experience one last time, it was. I'll never be thankful enough to Robbie for letting me do that because he didn't have to do that for me, but it was super cool.
Yeah. What was it like? Did Briz end up coming on the ice eventually?
Oh yeah, Brisket, he was out like 30 seconds later after all the guys were on, and he was like a little confused, but he got in there. He did well that game as he typically did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, what do you learn from what do you learn from guys like Briz and Bernard? Because Bernard's been around, like he's been overseas and
Mm.
SB fed, like he knows his stuff too, and Briz is a solid goalie as well. What do you learn from them?
Yeah, like they've both been around the block, and here was the really cool thing that I looked at it is they have two polar opposite styles of play.
Yeah,
Sammy's a big guy, much calmer in the net, doesn't like you don't see Sammy sprawling very much. He's very tame, very composed, where Briz is more my size, so like my style is a little more like his, but being able to pick their brain about the like little things like I was the big thing that Briz got me doing and it has changed my game was especially working off your post like in RVH was leading with your glove to where you have to go. My glove, I kept it pretty calm
yeah,
with my body and like in more into my body, but separating that glove. And so when you're like say from RVH, you're stepping off that post, now your glove is pulling you there.
yeah,
And if that shot's coming off quick, at least you have your glove in that position already to take up some space before you can get there. So that was a big thing with Briz that he helped me with and a
I
lot
may
of
have to learn
post
that. I
work.
may have to use that one now.
Yeah, the leading with the gloves was huge. Even just like stepping across the ice, like your T push across, like it's
Yeah,
leading with your glove because I just find he said he goes it forces your body to
Yeah.
get there because it's chasing your hand. And I went,
Yeah.
yeah. And I tried it my first few skates and it felt super weird, but I just stuck with it because I felt like I was faster and I was stopping more pucks. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll keep with it. And it definitely has become part of my game. Sammy, like I said, working on those under your arm shots and just positioning. Like for me, it was I had my glove very upright and he goes, just twist it that little bit so your elbow comes a little more into your body. And I was like, all right. And I tried and it felt so weird, especially your glove. Like that's something that's so style based. So I was a little worried about it at first, but even that, like the little things about it that like a guy like Sammy who's been around the block in all these
Yeah.
leagues knows. And he was like, watch when you turn it. He goes, the puck will channel into your pocket more if you're catching it off the thumb or off the tips of your fingers. And sure enough, it was like butter. Every puck was going into my pocket as compared to eating it off the palm or off the thumb. It was so little things like that. Because at that point, every goalie has their style. It's
Yeah.
what got you there. You don't need to change big things in your game. It's just fine tuning little stuff.
Yeah. It's just the little details and just evolving that stuff to become a strength, and it really does change your game then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But like you ended up leaving Topeka due to like injuries and stuff, and then now you're with the County Royals playing the Northern Premier Hockey League. So what's your time been like in with the County Royals?
So I spent some time preseason. I played half of the first preseason game against Tamworth Sabres, I believe it is. And funny enough, I was playing against Thomas Murphy, who ended up being my teammate in Topeka in that game. But that team is, I believe, their first. I think it's their second year in like being a team, and so it's very fresh. A lot of guys who have played a handful of games, but they're all like some of them are pretty new to the senior hockey thing.
Yeah.
But the one thing is they're all such great guys. And that makes it easy. Like you can look at the standings. It's we're not sitting top in our division. So having a great group of guys like that
Yeah.
that can band around and they're so excited to have you there when I walked back in or when I called the GM back up and I was like, "Hey, I'm coming home. I mean, if you guys are still wanting me to play for you guys, I'd be happy to stay on the ice and play a couple games for you guys." And he was like, "Oh man," he goes, "We've been looking at that 29 jersey. We've been holding it for you. Like, yes, come back." And I dressed the game against Lindsay as the first one, and then I was backing up that game. And then I got my first start against Westport, and first time on the ice in like 3 weeks after leaving Topeka. So it was a bit of a rough one. I think we ended up losing that game. I can't recall the exact score, but then this past week we played against Deserano Bulldogs, and they're a wagon.
Yeah.
They're a good hockey team. They got some handful of guys that played Coast, AHL, and we ended up pulling out a big win against them, which was something that was really cool. And like I said, when you have such a good group of guys that you're playing with, it makes everything so much easier. So that game, I think we ended up winning 8-5, and I think I had 45 saves. And when I came in the room, just like the praise I got from those guys was next to like they were all so excited that we just won, and like I was too. I was pretty fired up. But to get that is my first win, especially against Des. That being in the Belleville area where I live now is they're the talk. Like when I was telling people, they're like, "Oh, who are you playing against this weekend?" I'm like, Des. They're like, have
Good luck.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Good
good.
luck.
Like, yeah, you're gonna get pummeled. It'll be a gong show. You guys are gonna get whooped. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they're a good team, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's you just go out and stop pucks. That's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
So, just did what I could to help the team win, and we ended up pulling out the W. But that experience with those guys, like I said, it's a lot different than pro. There's no workload to it,
Yeah.
but
Go in, play,
having
have fun.
yeah, yeah, exactly, and like for me, I still take it serious. I still do my warm-ups, but I'm not on the ice 4 or 5 hours a week, or four or
Yeah.
5 hours a day, like I was in Topeka. Like, yeah, I'm lucky if I get a practice a week. Um, but that was definitely like being with those guys, having such a great group, having such a great locker room, great group of teammates. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's like it's good when you play against teams like that has like American League Coast guys too. Like I played in Gananoque last year for like a month and a half, and like just having guys like that, like it really helps you learn stuff, especially because they know how to rip the puck.
Oh yeah. There was one kid they ended up going on the highlight tape that that County and our commentator posted, and I didn't know this until after the game. But the kid, he played like 3 years in the coast, had split 2 seasons in the A, was drafted like seventh round, played 2 years overseas, and that kid came down, he let one go, and I windmilled the heck out of him. and I ended up gloving him a couple more times that game, and he kept coming down. And he's like, "That glove, man, that glove, I can't beat it." And I'm like looking back at the film, and I'm like, that kid could really move. And then I'm looking on like, and he had a bomb of a shot, and doing the EP dive, trying to see who I'm playing
Yeah,
against, because like I've heard stories about them, but like I don't know who these guys are. I'm fresh in
yeah,
the league again, and I'm like, oh damn, like this kid's legit. Like
yeah,
he's a young guy and he's fresh out of the league. Like he's a legit player. So getting that taste of it again was nice because it was very. I'm not going to say it was similar to the speed and pace of the Fed, but like having some real hard shots coming at you was really it was a cool experience. It's a challenge. It makes you better, right? So being able to still get better when I'm at the senior level is very good.
yeah, exactly. And you're just going out there having fun and enjoying the game. So you're still playing, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but before we wrap this episode up, like you're the director of goaltending now with Northumberland, and it's like how is that, and just being back home and really like being like a part of the development for these goalies and these players.
Yeah, it's we got a great team this year. We actually just had a player won MVP, another one won top forward. Our goalie got snubbed, I think personally. The kid's a good goalie and he didn't even get a ballot, but we have a really good team. I think we're sitting at 31-3 right now. Like we're a contender. So being able to show up to the rink and give these guys the knowledge that I learned over the years. Like I was a goalie. Like, don't get me wrong. I had some good hands. I had some good foot speed. But I think what separated me was my ability to pick up patterns throughout a game. And so, being able to recognize these patterns on the bench and see it from a different angle, and be able to portray that to the kids, and be able to implement that into our systems. We got a great staff. We got me, Chris Atanis, Alex McConnell, and Owen Walsh on our bench staff, and we all bring something different to the table, which is very, very nice. And we all look at the game from a very different perspective. We all play different positions, and being able to bring everything that we bring together and give it to these guys. Like we got a great leadership group too. A lot of guys with a lot of experience. Like we got Tristan Meyer and Zenon Edwards, Dawson Hederachi, and that, like, just to name a couple, Braden Bowen. Like we got some legit junior hockey players that like have played a handful of years in the CJ. Tristan was committed to go D3, and for whatever reason decommed, and we were blessed to receive Tristan. And these guys are all guys that really want it. They're not going into the season just going, oh, I'm playing in the G. No, they came in and they're like, I want to win a ring. I want to win a ring. I have something to prove. We all have a common goal at the end of
Yeah,
the year. We want to win a ring and we want to play at the next level. So having that has definitely helped out the team, because those guys, if we're not happy with something, when we go to our leadership group, because we want them to be able to deal with problems internally before the staff has to step in. Um, so like if we're having a problem with effort at practice and we call the captains in and we're like, guys, like we're getting ready for playoffs here. We got to step it up. We can't have guys walking in late. We can't have this. We can't like we gotta be in
Yeah.
line here. Like we're the first place team in the league right now, but that doesn't mean nothing.
No.
I don't care that we won the South. I don't care if we win the regular season in the league. I care that we win the Russell Cup. That's all I care about. Winning is everything. And what I want them to realize is, especially for those guys that want to play at the next level, having a ring under your belt gets you that much more.
Yeah.
There was a handful of offers that I lost last year from schools because we didn't end up winning the league. We were favorited to win, or we were favorited to at least make conference or make the finals, and we
Yeah.
got put out, I think, second round. And I those offers got pulled quick. Like it happens. And winners, like getting the experience of winning and knowing someone has the ability to and the longevity to last throughout a playoffs, because you're playing back to back. Like it's a quick turnaround,
The
especially in the
grind.
G. Exactly. So like taking care of your body and stuff like that is a big thing that a lot of guys in junior don't know how to do. So like I said, having these captains that we can rely on, having players on the ice that we can rely on, having staff that care and want to see our guys do well and win, and then having all the boys that are so bought into winning, that definitely helps and
Yeah.
makes it a great experience here. And I think I'm hoping that Northumberland and the GMHL can become a league that guys, instead of being like, oh, I'm playing in the GA, it'll be a league that guys want to come to. We want our program to be something that people want to come to. And that was our goal when I stepped in. I said, and Alex McConnell too. We go, we're not just running a hockey team here, we're running a hockey program.
Yeah.
We want it to be legit. We want these guys to come in here and we want them to leave better players, better people all around. And that's something that we've really looked to. And I think this year we got a good chance at winning it, but we got to bring it. It's not going to be an easy task, and all the guys know that.
Yeah. He's got to keep coming and keep coming, keep showing up and have everyone in line. And yeah, like you said, like having a ring under your belt helps you immensely when it comes to getting to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But hopefully you guys continue to roll and go win a championship.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but I think that's a great place to wrap this episode up. So, Brady, thank you again for coming on the show. I appreciate your time and want to wish you the best of luck with the Royals and with the Stars and hopefully winning a championship.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It was a great time.
Yeah, of course.